It was indeed a tense weekend on the streets of D.C. as spokescops for the Metropolitan Police Department did a rare thing and actually told the truth about the Million MAGA March that was actually just a few thousand, that a whole bunch of people came to D.C. not to protest an election that they claim was stolen, but to actually start trouble. These so-called freedom-loving patriots went from being angry at completely baseless and unproven election fraud to taking out their rage on people demonstrating against racist police violence and to desecrating memorials to those killed by it down at Black Lives Matter Plaza. Real classy. Now, during the day, the rally was largely peaceful, with most people leaving the city before dark, but large crowds of folks that swear they're not racist stuck around after dark and intentionally provoked anti-racist demonstrators. And as usual, their agent provocateurs crafted a narrative that made them look like the victims. People like right-wing propagandist Andy No, famous for posting deceptively edited videos of racist white people getting their behinds handed to them by anti-fascists that they actually provoked. He did what he's famous for by posting a video that shows a Trump supporter getting his behind handed to him by anti-racist folks down at Black Lives Matter Plaza. Now, of course, Reich's Twitter loved it, and their leads retweeted the propaganda as an example of another liberal city run amok. But the entire video shows one Trump supporter literally sneaking up behind a man, walking down the street, talking through a bullhorn, telling the Trump supporters to leave because the rally was over at that point, long over. And those folks who remained had gone down to Black Lives Matter Plaza and were harassing folks down there. The sneak attacker ran up behind the bullhorn guy and pushed him into another Trump supporter, who then turned on the bullhorn guy, pushed him down to the ground, and stomped on the man's head as he is heard screaming, "Kill them." The people converge on this animal and proceed to hand him his behind as he continues to rage scream things like, "None of you want to do that," but they do want to, and they proceed to do that because he continues to assault people, pushing a few women along the way before he's finally stopped. But No's video, of course, only shows the portion of the altercation where people are going after Wild Animal Man. What happened before that is intentionally left out. And isn't that just rich that here we are saying that this time, not seeing everything that happened before actually is important? I mean, the people who are always using that as a reason to completely dismiss every single incident of racist police terrorism committed against citizens. You know, they don't have the whole story because we don't know what happened before the video was taken. They are now perfectly happy not having the whole story because it confirms their racist hatred of people fighting against the systemic manifestation of racist hatred. What's even more rich, according to the Metropolitan Police Department, 21 people were arrested on charges that include assault, disorderly conduct, and inciting violence. 8 firearms were seized and 5 people were arrested on gun charges, including 2 who were linked to a Georgia-based militia group. Police also found 3 additional firearms and ammunition in a room linked to 2 members of this Georgia militia. And as much as MPD claimed that they tried their darndest to keep the Trump supporters away from the demonstrators at Black Lives Matter Plaza, they admit that it was the Trump supporters who made it their business to cause trouble by sticking around after the rally and going down to the plaza to pick fights. From maskless white women angrily ripping signs and memorial posters off the fence at Black Lives Matter Plaza to the Proud Boys and other Trump supporters declaring that they came here to fight right before they picked a large one with anti-racist demonstrators that night, that Saturday night, and into the next morning, the rally that was supposed to be about an allegedly stolen election sure did morph into violent attacks on mostly Black people for some strange reason. Now, look, I'm all for people exercising their right to protest whatever it is they want to protest, even if it's some foolish notion that their candidate actually won an election that they claim was stolen from them that has not been proven. As they love to say, this is America, and you have a right to express your views about whatever it is you believe. But what does confronting anti-racist demonstrators have to do with that? What does bringing guns to your rally have to do with that? I mean, if they're mad about a stolen election, what are they going to do? Shoot the voting machines? This is not the way to protest that. It's not the way to do it. But you and I know that this election really doesn't have much to do with these people's grievances and why those who stuck around after their rally targeted the people they did. These people are the civilian shock troops of the same racist hatred that folks down at Black Lives Matter Plaza and in other uprisings around the country are demonstrating against. And the Trump supporters who celebrate their actions are just as complicit in their hatred as is their president. But I cannot stress enough that Trump didn't start or create this phenomenon. He is just the charismatic leader of that half of the country that has always felt this way, but just didn't have anyone high enough in power to give them legitimacy to act out their sentiments in the modern era as Trump has. See, they see themselves as helping to maintain the system that they like and helping its official troops, law enforcement. Trump is merely the guy that gave them a flag to fly for their ideology, but their hatred is as old and familiar as the Klan and this country itself. I think we need to be very, very clear on that as we move forward after this election is finally over, whenever that's going to be. Because for these people, the issue is not at all a stolen election, but it is what they believe is their dominance in society that they're desperately trying to maintain. That's what they think is being stolen. And as the new guards of the empire come in with weak pleas for unity and healing and forgiveness, we need to be clear that these people don't want any parts of any of that. We are their enemies because that is how they see us, not because that's how we see them. There is no reasoning with that kind of thinking or with them. Follow Luke Mon Nation on patreon.com/LukeMonNation for lots of great content.